Wiz Khalifa, Logic, and Drama. They had a show. I was actually supposed to open at that show, but I got there 5 minutes late.
Damn,
So,
5 minutes.
I miss opening.
Why was you late?
Nah, I mean, I ain't gonna get into like too, but like.
Welcome to CurbTalks podcast. I'm on the curb today. If your butt hurt, stand up, stretch, sit down, let's get straight to it.
Yes, sir. We are back with another episode. It's CurbTalks season 4, episode 11. Today we got a special guest with us, man. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Meka Luxx, the one and only. What's happening? CurbTalks, let's get it.
Yeah, man. We talking about holy water. That's like I can sense my mom. She might like that joint. She might like it.
Yeah, I just heard. Let the people know what they just heard for a little.
So that was Water, off of the tape. You know what I mean? I believe track 5. Yeah. If you haven't heard it, go take a peek.
Tap in.
Where there is smoke, man. Y'all go tap in.
For sure. Like, how you feeling today?
Good, man.
That's good. We gonna get into the current moment. We usually ask everybody in this segment, like, what is their version of Curb Talks? So, like, where do you have your best conversations? Who they be with?
My best conversations, especially like in the past year, be coming from like my team meetings, right? When we were down on the phone and talk and plan, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Strategize. Like, I think it was just like one night. I can't even remember. Like I was thinking, I can't even remember the time, but I just remember the conversation kind of like start arguing a little bit. Like it was, just over, not arguing, but like debating.
Mm.
And my manager just, was telling me it ain't even about like what you think of yourself or like how high you may think of your music. Like stop giving a fuck about that. You know what I mean? You gotta go as hard for yourself as you want fans to go for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like thinking about that, and then of course him listing like examples and stuff like that. It's like you can never think like you worked hard enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's always more to do. There's always something to learn, and from there, like around that time, I just changed my mindset. Started like.
You feel like it was more so just like, cause like a lot of times, like people say, like you're supposed to have like that kind of irrational confidence in yourself, and like even if people don't see the vision yet, like just know that like don't even worry about people's opinion when you're really trying to become like a bigger artist. You know what I'm saying? Is it kind of like that?
Yeah, and I think it was just more of like I was really into what I had going on and what I wanted to do, but like not really seeing it from like other perspectives of like, okay, what does this person that never met me before, hasn't heard like all the crazy shit in the studio session or something like that, like. What are they thinking of your music? All they know is this, or to that situation that was going on. So it's just like changing that mindset and humbling yourself too.
Yeah, I think it's always difficult trying to like be humble, but also have that crazy like be humble, but you're delusional. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're so delusional to know like to the point where you're gonna blow, but like you're humble to the point where it's like it's chill. You know what I'm saying? Like it's calm, but you have that so much confidence that you're delusional at a point. Because a lot of people say. You need to be delusional. Like you need to like really think like you're it to really get there, So I think it's just find that balance.
Yeah, and it's the confidence you just don't want it to turn into arrogance.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be confident in what you got going on.
Like a thin line though.
Yeah.
It's a very thin line, bro.
Of course, I feel like all artists got egos and their way of thinking and whatnot. So. It's always that mental battle just as much as it is in the studio or on that canvas. Like, you got to be correct up there. So.
But, damn, I appreciate you sharing that. That's a curve moment right there.
Yeah, that was a good comment.
Curve moment.
Yeah, we're just going to get straight into the interview. Like, so tell the people who may not know you, like, where you from, like, where you based out and things like that.
Yeah, I'm Nigerian, out of Baltimore, Maryland, originally from Atlanta. And I've been doing music for like, since I can just like remember and even like wanting to sing or play an instrument or whatever the case is. But you know, out of the DMV, like I was developing like just like a sound of my own, and now that it got like it was just like leaking out, and people were like rocking with it, and it's just like here we are now. Project is here, like everything going on. I just feel like I still have like a lot for my music to even show who I am. You know what I mean? But like for short, I'm just a Nigerian guy trying to like trying to do my thing. Man. Like, it's too special to my story that like somebody else isn't living. But you know, I just want my name.
Nah, every story's special, bro. Every story's special. You know what I'm
I feel like I'm still building it. You know what I'm saying? Just like,
saying?
you know what I mean? Like introducing myself now, like, I can't even tell you a whole bunch of like accolades or ones that I would even want to. Just, like, just remember the name and like know, you know, so you know, something crazy.
The fact that you even from like Atlanta and Atlanta and Maryland, you got a cheat code right there. I'm not gonna lie. That's why like a low key a cheat code, cause like Atlanta is a you know what I'm saying, it's coming up like it's real like it's a hub. It's a hub right now. Yeah. But the fact that you still have roots there?
Of course.
You still got roots there, so it's like you could come from DMV Atlanta, so you really had like two home bases to kind of pick and play with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I was young and I moved from Atlanta, I was 15, 16, and of course like I had family and all that, but it wasn't until I was maybe like 18 or 19 where I started like really getting into it with the music and everything. So I wouldn't say like I have a base of like fans. Like, I mean, of course I got people in Atlanta now that's like rocking with me.
Yeah.
But like when I first started, it wasn't even like I was looking at it like, okay, I have that cheat code. More so like I got family I can actually go back to and be with at home, or same thing being in Baltimore. So it's like that support and that foundation, like I definitely had that. But you know, it turns into a cheat code when you're just like buzzing in places and you got ties to all these people in multiple cities. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever I'm locked in with, like I identify with it. So it's like,
So talk more about like coming from Atlanta, coming to Baltimore, like just the different areas, the different like cultures, like what can you really remember that's really just like that stood out to you just featuring like the differences?
Shit, it was cold.
Like a lot colder up here.
What? I was getting sick like every month. Like, and it's like it was bad, you know what I mean? Like don't even want to go to school type. But as a kid, like, you know, I was outside a lot more in Atlanta, but I feel like it was just how neighborhoods were, with the difference in like how Atlanta was back in like 2011, 2012, and how Baltimore was. Like you couldn't be outside like in certain places in Baltimore compared to like in Atlanta, where it's like I feel like it's a lot more smaller. Like at that time, like now, of course, like, you know, shit is crazy everywhere. But it was, you know, my mom just made sure like I wasn't around certain stuff. Like, and it's like even though it didn't really work for her, at least she tried. You know versus like, you know what I mean, like a young nigga jumping off the porch like 12 years old, like getting into some shit he don't even know about. You know what I mean? Like, but growing up in Baltimore was like I got like a lot smarter being outside. Like shit was different. I feel like that helped with how I even like looked at life. You know what I'm saying? And seeing life like go just like that. It was like you gotta straighten up. So it was, you know, the experiences and the influences, I feel like all of that like made me like who I am. And I'm only like blessed for it. You know what I mean? Like being on the concrete or being like walking on marble, like it's life. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I feel like if I was a parent and I'm trying to take my kid away from it, I feel like Baltimore might be like one of the last resorts though. There'd still be some crazy stuff in Baltimore. Yeah, man. I'm taking them to like some suburbs out the way.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and my mom, like we used to talk about that a lot because my mom be like in her own like utopia. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have much of a relationship with my dad when I was like in like the middle young years of my life and stuff. So it was really me and my mom a lot. And all she be knowing is like who she know and where they at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
shouldn't be too tapped into anything else going on.
Like my mom don't know, well at least at the time wouldn't know to like go on Google and be like the safety, you know, whatever for kids in this region or whatever the case is. Like, it was just, I know this person lives here. I know this one. Okay, we can go.
Let's go there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how people in Africa. That's the funny part. Cause it's
Yeah.
like you just need a home base. You need family there. Once you can do that, you can kind of establish yourself.
Nah, and on top of that, my dad was in Baltimore at the time, so yeah, he was living there. My mom wanted me to be closer to cuz and all that, and things like that. I mean,
Wait. Sorry, cuz is crazy.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that though.
You know what I mean? It's just that's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wanted to build that relationship a lot more.
Yeah.
But she talked about it years later, even after my first fight, she was just like I brought you from this one to this one, you're still doing.
Right.
It's so the more she saw and being in East Baltimore, when we first, moved and shit, it was it was right there for her, but it was what are you gonna do now? You don't move all this stuff, move the kid.
Exactly.
You gotta maneuver.
Yeah.
And I feel like she still did her thing, you know what I mean? The schools I went to, bad kids be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, she was trying to make happen, the effort was still there.
Yeah.
So at least I appreciate, my mom for the effort.
That's all we can do for appreciate our parents for just trying.
Yeah.
So I think growing up is realizing your parents tried their best, even if it was as bad as it was. It could have been they tried their best. At least,
Into whatever we get into, you know what I mean? The kid gonna go to school and meet somebody. Who knows what background that somebody came from?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Or your kid will meet somebody that's doing the same things you don't even know they're doing. They're alike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And things just start from there. It don't even gotta be school. Do you walk out your house, you're in your neighborhood?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you just gotta make sure you're doing what you're doing at home and make sure your kid got morals. I know plenty of street niggas with morals. Plenty. So it ain't really about. The African parents will always think, okay, he's talking to he do all these and become a race man. I know smart street niggas.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? It's
It's crazy to say that because it's sometimes you gotta realize as a parent, it's sometimes I feel they be trying their best to sometimes that's why you see certain African parents just sometimes be overprotective because you don't really know their environment. So it's even you said, you can meet anybody. So I feel sometimes parents try to make sure you don't meet anybody. So it's they keep you aside, keep you this and keep you, not because they don't want you to have fun, but just for out the safety reason. But it's sometimes, you said, you're gonna get into what you want.
But the crazy part is you can get into stuff inside or outside. You know what I'm saying? It's still internet crime. There's still stuff you can do online. There's still people you can meet online too. And the thing is, you probably making sneakier kids that way. You know what I'm saying? If a kid want to do it, he gonna find a way. OC gonna find a way.
They're only getting smarter too.
Talking about boarding school.
I'm about to say, tell your story.
What you mean? I mean, the thing is, all right, bet. So I went to a boarding school, right? And everybody, no.
Shit, they shut them out the way.
I'll explain it. So every time I tell somebody, oh yeah, I went to Flowers before that. So every time I tell somebody, I went to boarding school, oh yeah, what you do, but I ain't do nothing. Cause my parents, they, like you said, they're trying to make it the best way they can. So pretty much they wanted me to always go to a private school. So for the majority of my life, I was going to public schools, da. So my freshman year of high school, they found out about this program called A Better Chance, and it's basically a program that helps students get into private schools.
Did it really give you a better chance?
I mean, I'll get into that content, but
okay.
It's interesting because first of all, going through the process, I remember we had to take tests, aptitude tests or whatever. In my head, I'm bro, I should bomb this. I wasn't trying to leave Flowers. I wasn't trying to leave my friends, things like that.
How old was you?
It's sophomore year, so I was 14, 15, you know what I'm saying, going through that. And I enrolled in the program freshman year, and that sophomore year is the year I was supposed to go through the final process, trying to find schools. So basically the way they did it is a bunch of you had a list of 10 schools you applied to. So I applied to 10 schools, and then you can with private schools, sometimes they gotta interview you. So I'm saying, so they let you inside the school, things like that. So depending on the schools I interview, I talk to different people. I ended up narrowing down the list 3 different schools. So schools that accepted me pretty much. So there's a boarding school. There was another school out DC, another school out Silver Spring. So the boarding school just ended up being the best option for because out DC was kind of transportation, things like that, and also just the culture, school culture, all that stuff. So honestly, I went out there, and honestly, I don't really mind it because I made some great friends. It was an all boys school, so it was kind of it spank a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But it's it was good for the simple fact that I feel academically, it definitely helped. I can say that for a fact. They had certain college success programs, things like that, just preparing you for the SAT, things like that. Other things honestly, I feel I would have been straight regardless, but it's I appreciate my parents making that effort, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta find that balance. Like I didn't like they knew I didn't want to go. They knew, but it's like
boys school in America.
man, it's just,
Crazy.
you just
You
man,
people
it's crazy.
Huh?
Would you have agreed if your parents was gonna do it?
I wouldn't have a choice.
But it's no, that's what I'm saying. It's not even like
Okay.
It's not like I would like wouldn't have had a choice.
I feel like me and my mom, like, we just had the type of relationship, like, if she ever tried that, like, I would have really sat her down and like, Ma, let's really, like, let's be for real right now.
my parents, they wasn't hearing it. Like even if no matter how much I try to fight it, it's like, bro, it's like a private school, better education. That's all in their head is better education. You know what I'm saying?
Boarding school is probably taxed though.
But the thing about the boarding school,
It's probably taxed though.
school,
Like,
they had like a good financial aid program. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of different, even I remember the boarding school. You had like the rich, like a lot of Asian kids, like they would like transfer there, like you see that. But there's a lot of different people from different backgrounds, Philly, New York. You know what I'm saying? I got to like meet people from that type of area. You know, hear their lingo. So I really can't really complain. I still got friends from there that I'm still friends with today. You know what I'm saying? So I really can't complain.
it's crazy because like you're paying college tuition in high school. It's like a double spank. Like
Yeah,
Nah,
not even tuition though.
You know,
I mean,
the thing,
close.
the thing in this life though is like you looking at it like a spank. Like some other people in this life looking at it as an investment.
Exactly.
Ja.
I did tell my mom said my parents that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
that's what
That's
they
why I don't
say.
got kids yet.
That's obvious. No, like,
Cause I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like the prep schools ain't too far off. You know what I mean? Like with what they be having like students do, even though folks be going there for like sports or like that.
yeah.
You know, that's still down there in private school.
For sure. So
Invest in your kids. If you get the king, come on.
you got to do
Made a
that.
choice.
Your kids is like one of your biggest investments. Yes, you paying the way forward. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do that. So let's get into you. Let's get into the music. Like what even like got everything started? Like how did you even get into music? Was you just as a kid, you just always liked it, or like what was your start?
Yeah, I used to. Now, funny enough, because I used to get beat for this. Like, I mean, of course, yeah. Like listening to the music, it just, I guess it did something different to me. Like experiencing it, like different sounds. You know, I'd be in the car with my mom or like my uncle. They used to pick me up to take me to school a lot. You know, listen to the radio, the different sounds that was on there. Like I was into, of course, like the hip hop with rap that I was listening to, like Gucci, Jeezy, you know what I'm saying, Flocka, like. But I'm hearing pop. I'm hearing like R&B shit. You know, I'm just like a fan of everything. Like I was fucking with Coldplay when I was young, on some young shit. You know what I mean? And then eventually, like, you know, I get like on my mom's laptop and I'd be like watching like YouTube videos, like the music videos and shit. And I don't know if y'all had it like on your cable, this thing called Music Choice.
I heard of it,
It was like a channel, like if you go all the way down, like if
you're like in the 500s or something like that.
Yeah, because like at first, like niggas ain't had cable like that. But then when my mom, you know, good little nursing job and stuff, better situations. I had Comcast, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so I used to always like see the music videos, and then some of them would have lyrics. So like I'd start like writing down the lyrics, and then like I'd like substitute like what would I say here, you know?
Okay.
How old are you around this point?
This was middle school.
Middle school.
So I want to say like 11.
All right.
Yeah, you know. And this was right when I came back from Nigeria. My mom had actually, I was 12, so I was 12. But yeah, my mom sent me to Nigeria.
Okay.
And I actually was doing it out there too, because that's kind of where my first love for like Afro came.
Okay.
And of course, that's like significant to like what I do now.
For sure.
But you know, that's where I was like listening to it a lot too with like older cousins and stuff, and I just be like writing down lyrics.
Yeah.
So I got caught for it in Nigeria. Used to get beat. I got caught for it like when I came back home.
Who the flock? I mean, it's not the African parents.
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting that.
Just for like listening to the music and things like that?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then like, well, I used to get beat because like at first like I'm writing down cuss words and stuff, and like they're thinking like it's my original thought. But like it's too late to like explain, oh, I got it from a song. It's already out.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, eventually I think I joined like this one music class, like in middle school. It was like some orchestra. Yeah, it was orchestra. Because I actually learned how to like play the cello. I don't know how to do that shit now, but I was definitely like in there. It was a nice little girl in there, so I was trying to like, you know some young shit.
rapper shot,
But I was actually, you know, just fucking with it more and more. And the older I got, the more it developed. Next thing you know, like I'm rapping for my friends and stuff like that. And by the time I get high school, you know, there was like this this app. I can't even remember the name now, but folks would like put beats on there or like instrumentals or like other joints, and you could actually like record your vocals on there too.
What was it called? Bandlab?
I can't remember what it was called though. It's crazy. But yeah, so you know, I'd always have like the little earpiece and I'd be like trying to like rap my lines on the little joint and like play it back. And I got creative with it too. Oh God, like I had what do they call that joint? That like when you pour something through to like, you know, get the water out.
Like a sieve?
A sieve. Nah, yeah, like a sieve.
It's a sieve.
Yeah, okay.
Is sieve a word? Sieve?
I think it is sieve, but like I think
Sieve or a sieve?
like a colander. I think that's what they call it.
Colander? I never heard that before.
Hey,
It's the shit.
I ain't gonna lie.
Somebody look that up. Silver. What is that?
I ain't gonna lie. I remember a joint told me some joint was called like a colander. I thought it might have been that, but the joint that got the holes in it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Drainer.
So I used to take like my mom had like one of the little ones.
Yeah.
So I put like the earpiece through it and then make my own filter.
You think about the filter?
Yeah, I made my own filter.
That's crazy.
So then I was like really, and some of them joints is like on my SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
Yeah, I had like I still got the same SoundCloud
crazy.
account. So like if you listen to my SoundCloud, you probably listen to
SoundCloud was where it's at. Like SoundCloud, that's like I remember middle school, high school. It's like
I got
a song with the drainer filter. Which one was that?
so that was when I was on JB's. Cause like at that point in high school, like I was out here now.
Right,
Okay.
That's when I started getting put on to like Jay-Z, Kanye, like, and that's where I really wanted to be on some like, I wanted to rap like Jay. Like I wanted to be that dude that's like, you know what I mean, talking that shit, but like, you feel me? It's like, it's gone. So it was on PSL.
Okay.
Ain't that what it's called?
what joint?
What you talking about?
Jay-Z.
Are you talking about an album?
No, it was a track. I lied, DOA.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
DOA by Jay-Z. So, you know, I did like a little freestyle on that, and then from there, I think I did like a Drake beat, and then like some other shit too. But yeah, bro, and it's just like every step, like everything in life just started involving like more and more of like me trying to make something work. And then by the time I got to VSU, I was telling you, I had a dude. One of my guys, shout out to Chad, you know what I mean? He turned his whole dorm into like a studio.
That's tough.
That's tough.
And so like literally I go in there not even knowing like shit about shit, and I see him like doing stuff, and then eventually like started making my own, you know, like actual studio joints. I think before that, I think I made a track with my homeboy though, like in one of his guys like crib, like in his room. He just had like a little mic and then a laptop. We did like some little bullshit, but the real songs started coming, you know, from that dorm room.
When did you decide to like take it seriously?
I feel like that year I did like on some, you know, like young rapper, like just trying to get in. I'm seeing all these dudes going crazy, like Yachty, Kodak, like this is because this is like 2015 now. Like,
I
remember that like
nuts.
XXL freshman class.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was all niggas my age. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, you know, let me turn over this joint. I'm in Virginia at the time, so it's like we gonna see what we build out here. Like we gotta work with what we got, you know what I'm saying? Cause I wanted to go to like a little party school, so I went to VSU, but I was trying, you know what I mean, like getting the scene, getting the mix. So I was in all the parties trying to get niggas to like play my shit. Wasn't nobody really like, you know what I mean? But you know, back to what I was saying. From there, I was just trying to like grow. Like, however it happened. Like, so I'm looking at like marketing stuff, how to like what I gotta pay to like boost some streams, what I gotta do to you know, like, well, it wasn't even, nobody was even talking about streams at the time, but just like get more plays or like you know, get more songs heard and stuff like that. And I did like a couple shows like on some local, you know, Who Got Talent type of vibe. And from there, that's when I was just like, all right, like I really think I could, you know, like really do this. And one time Jadakiss actually came to the school, and that was where I got like my first like contact with Def Jam, because like he had came with like some A&Rs and, you know, some people that just like be with him and stuff. And that's why I was like, all right, I got a couple contacts. I'm like, all right, let me, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the
Start building
route.
that platform.
But I got caught up in some shit, and all of that kind of went to like a pause. Like had to leave Virginia, like all this stuff, and I kind of like took a break off of it. Then like that passion, like it's always like still in you. I was still writing, I was still like creating. And eventually I was like, all right, let me see how I could like write for, other artists. And I was watching videos of like how niggas was making bags off that too. So I'm just like, all right, I'll probably, write some R&B shit or write some rap shit for somebody, whatever the case was. And, I did that for a little bit. That was like
you was running for, you say Ari Lennox?
Yeah, well, I got invited, I got invited to a writing camp, so it's not like my shit was. I'm under the credits or something. It was multiple, and that didn't come till like later on, like more as a way developed like just artist. But I'm starting off with like folks that went to my school, like, you know what I'm saying? People that was just like in the area, and I'm talking to them like, yo, I could write this, let's make some hits. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. And then from there, eventually, I was looking into the business side. I wanted to like get into like A&R work and stuff like that, play behind the scenes. I didn't really think I had like the look of an artist. And then it's like, with stuff going on at the time as well. So, but eventually it just turned into, that passion came frontline, and it was just like, let's push out what I want folks to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So talk about like, you mentioned like first it was like SoundCloud, you was like, trying to do things with the Dre and things like that. Yeah. Talk about like the experience making that first song like an actual studio though. Cause it's like, I ain't gonna lie, I fake dabble, try to make my own songs, you know what I'm saying?
That was why money.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say the name, but you might stumble across the SoundCloud or something. But just like trying to do shit like, it was different because it's like I didn't have no production. I was trying to mix things. I was trying to use GarageBand. But like, how did it feel like making the first song? Because it sounds way different. You know what I'm saying? Right. So how did it feel making that first song in the studio and it just sounds like an official song?
It felt liberating. You know what I'm saying? Because like, of course, like your people's not gonna know you rapping at first. You know what I'm saying? Like unless you like Kodak or something that just got it jumping from like what 13, 14. But it was just like, damn, like that's what if like that's me, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm hearing like what I created. Yeah. You feel me? So it felt liberating. Like it felt like that was just a sign like, all right, and then my first thought was like, all right, how can I make it better?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was more.
That's a good start.
You know what I'm saying? Because I started fixating on it. I was just like, all right, but I wanted to sound like what I'm growing up listening to and stuff like that. So then I, not even knowing about nothing, I just tell the engineer like, listen to this song. How can you make my voice sound like this? Right. Or like, how can you make it like this, like sharp on a song where it's like, it's not sound like no lag or like shit like that. Or how can you make my vocal like ring a little bit? Like what I know now is delays and shit. But it's like, I was researching stuff. I'm over here looking up how to damn near be the engineer myself, like how to put on auto-tune or whatever, so I could come back to homeboy and be like, yo, you know how to do this? You know how to do this? Yeah. And then from there, when I put like a little mixtape on SoundCloud together, it was like, it was me, but like in different types of vibes. And at that time, I'm just like, that's me. That's, you know what I mean?
I'm seeing it, people playing it.
But and people were playing it. So I'm like, it's lit. We fucking with cuz, I was like a popping little freshman at State, so it was cool. But it wasn't until I'm trying to remember like the first, like even when like Familiar came about. Familiar came about, I was actually like somewhere not too far from here. Like I made Familiar in College Park.
Wow.
But ironically.
Like it's coming out here.
Yeah, for sure. Like it was Cuz's basement. Yeah, he had like, the whole like setup though. Like a whole floor that, was his space.
It's tough.
And at that point, that's like I want to say like a 2-3 year difference. Yeah. So it's like, that's 2-3 years of like shit I done learned on like, woo. And I'm still making like little bullshit here and there, you know what I mean? Like I can say it's bullshit, but it's just like, it was actually like some quality like stuff that's on there. I wouldn't leave it up there now if it was. Right. But like Familiar coming, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like this is what.
So that was like your
This is
aha
what
moment.
quality sounds
Okay.
like. You know what I mean? Like now I figured out what I sound like, but it's like now this is what quality music is like supposed to sound like. And I'm still like, oh, okay, like how can we make this better?
Yeah.
So it's like Familiar took me like 7 separate studio sessions.
Really?
The song.
To make the song.
I was that fixated on just like little shit.
Okay.
Like I would be playing it back like 50 times.
Yeah.
And I'd probably like after the 49th time I'd be like, maybe I should take this out and put this in.
Wow.
And he'd tell you because I know I annoyed him. Like I'd be telling him like, yo, what you think about this? What you think about this? And he was a sax artist himself.
Okay.
So like remembering that I was like, yo, I think like we could put like some sax on here. Like that was probably around like the 4th session.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? So like eventually like it just came how it was, and then I was like, okay, we done.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm playing it for like the guys. And
Was it really, are you done, or was it like, I'm not even trying to annoy him anymore?
A little bit more.
If I can do that,
Because like, I won't even lie. Like,
listening to Familiar now, it's like just growing now. It's like yeah, I'd probably put some
Probably add
something
more,
else, add a little more sauce. But yeah, that was like okay, this is it.
But was Familiar like your first like because it's more of an Afrobeat track. So was it like your first one, or like did you wait for dabbling in that?
Familiar wasn't the first. So I actually jumped ahead a little bit when I answered your question because my first studio record that was like quality was in like a big setting studio. But it's like even when that song came out, because it's a song I got called Bust Down in 2020. I put that out like in quarantine time. Well, right before quarantine actually. That's why we ain't even get to do nothing with it. But I put that out, and when I was hearing that, I was like, okay, like that aha moment.
Yeah.
But why my mind kind of went straight to Familiar was because like that was something that was like a fusion, I felt like, of everything I grew up on.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing was, like, I've always been somebody that identified with my African side. You get me? So it's like, when I made that really sounded like my, like, I was like, okay, this is who I am. You feel me?
Talk about. I actually got 2 questions for you. One question is like you mentioned at first it was like, oh, I want to rap like Jay-Z. I want to do this. Like, how did you develop your career craft and starting as a rapper? Because it's for people who like starting to make music, you know, they're like it's easy to like just throw on a beat and start rapping, but it's like at a certain day you gotta, in order to become a particular rapper, you gotta like establish your own flow, your own type of rhythm, things like that. So how did you transition and try to figure out like, oh, I'm gonna start rapping like this on tracks, and then eventually like transition to Afrobeats? How was that whole thing?
It was practice, bro. Like, practice. Like, I have as many records as I have times 3 incomplete ones. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of just, and it's crazy. Like, you know, I'll show you so you see, because I feel like a lot of people that like even say they do music now probably wouldn't even be able to show you. Like, this is all mostly
These are all songs, a lyric.
Just lyrics, and it's like just well, some will have like something where it's like I started something, and then like you know what I mean, like, and it goes all the way back to I'm gonna let you tell him.
Yeah.
So okay, there was PSA that I told you I made. So that's that. That's
2016.
Okay.
He's scrolling.
You know, and
2017. He keeps
like that was just always something I was kind of like with the writing part of it. So I felt like developing everything else was kind of just from things I was picking up on. Like I'd be watching videos of like artists in the studio, like artists performing. You know, it's kind of like I already, you know, I feel like every artist probably does have that dream, but it's like with mine, they were just like way more like I used to fantasize about it type shit. So it's like a nigga would be seeing a video and be like, oh yeah, that's a lit rapper, woo woo. I'm over here like looking at it like, yo, how do I get to that?
How do you become that?
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when I'm making music myself, I'm already envisioning like visual aspects to like what I'm even trying to create. And I felt like over time that started helping me even, you know, make more music, because if I was to like keep scrolling up to the top, you would see it's less and less notes. I stopped writing. Like, or it's like when I like write, is if like I make a full like reference track and like get to somebody. But it's like a lot of the times like my lyrics like actually being written down started coming from like after the song was already done.
Yeah.
So it's like working on that craft, like I feel like all the influence that I had growing up, of course, like living in Nigeria, living in Marietta, living in East Baltimore is like a combination of all of that plus what I was experiencing in all of those places. It's just like tied in. And then, you know, through time, making like multiple records of like what I wanted to hear myself saying is like I found the one.
And then the other question I had, like you mentioned something that was important, like about the quality. I feel like a lot of times people start making music, they're so focused on getting the music out as opposed to think about like the quality. How important is quality music to you? And how do you know what good quality is? You know what I'm saying, when you're listening?
Yeah, and I want to kind of like emphasize that point because what is like quality to us is different than quality to you.
To you, yeah.
Like quality to an artist, you know, it's like what does that even look like?
To me, quality is honesty.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Like quality isn't even something that like you, and this is why it's honesty. You yourself, you tell yourself anything you want to tell yourself.
Yeah.
You get me? This thing if you did green, you go tell you like you say it's black. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But with honesty, this will tell you this joint is purple.
Purple, yeah.
So it's like when you're creating and you're making sure like you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're following it, like falling in the pockets, like you put some good vocals behind that main vocal. You made sure like the beat wasn't sounding, you know, too louder than this. Like you make sure like you sound like you're being serious. I feel like with that, the honesty comes and everyone in the room is saying the same thing.
Right.
You get feeling the same thing. So it's like that's what I feel like quality is. And honestly, like from what I've been seeing, like with other artists, like locally, I be feeling like there's not enough like time to go with the quality. Because of course anybody can make something that's like, you know, fire. I feel like it's so much talent like in the area, so many good artists, but like there's a lot of people that don't even get themselves like the fair chance to like, because like you're not learning something and applying it to it and letting it just be truthfully quality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
you feel like it starts with honesty within yourself. Yeah. Having an honesty, like
of course, you have to correct yourself. You got to be able to say to yourself like, nah, this can sound better like this. You know, you don't even have to compare like with, you know, or what this person has going on or what that person has going on, but look at what is the honesty in it. This sounds like it got made in a studio.
Right.
Why are you in your closet recording it? This sound well. Shout out to people that get it done in the closet if you got the right equipment, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about like, you know, like
it sounds like it's made in the
closet. Nah, I mean, you rapping on a mic that came with your headset, your gamer headset, you know what I'm saying? You know, stuff like that. Yeah. And making sure that like what you're putting out is like it's like you look at it and be like, yeah, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
So when other people come and listen to it, like they should be in agreement with you. You know?
Yeah.
So
that's tough. I know we were talking about earlier, you don't really see yourself like you got like a lot of accolades, but you know what I'm saying? You just been doing, you know what I'm saying? You've been doing a lot so far. Like I want to talk about some of the things that you kind of done already, you know what I'm saying? You opened up for Fireboy.
Yes.
How was that? Like you, Fireboy DML.
Yeah, that was
Peru, You did, you know what I'm saying? Like how was that experience?
No, for sure. It was welcoming, and given that it was my second time opening for an artist at the Fillmore, it felt like all right, like
who was the first one?
First one was Olamide.
Olamide, gotcha.
That's
yeah,
tough.
Yeah, he
That's
was
tough.
on a Carpe Diem tour. And yeah, they came to Silver Spring. That in comparison to that first time, I felt like I had a whole bunch of preparation, you know what I mean? And I did my thing, but opening up for Fireboy was like, okay, I know the ropes now.
Mm-hmm.
I know how many people I'm about to see there.
Yeah.
I know how I'm gonna sound. I know how I'm supposed to sound. You know what I mean? So I can go to sound check and handle all that or whatever. But being up there on stage, it's a blessing when you have like music that isn't even released that like people are in agreement with.
They resonate with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
So when you opened up, it'd been music that you just performed. It hadn't been released yet.
All I had was Familiar, and I did like
Yeah.
12 shows.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Like, and that was just that was before like I even put anything like on some new SoundCloud tracks or like some other stuff. It's like I was surprised at how much people really wanted to hear Familiar, because going back to like what we were saying about, you know, creating something and not knowing whether it's like the right thing yet or whatever. Like I have so many songs now that like compared to Familiar, like you can hear the growth. You know what I'm saying? But Familiar was just like a record that was like undeniable, like locally, that folks was, you know, really rocking to. So with that motion, I could already like walk on certain stages, and at least like out of like a 2,000 person crowd that Fillmore had, probably 100 people in there knew.
Okay.
At least. You get what I'm saying?
Somebody
and
afterwards.
right, and of course, like you look at percentage wise now, take that, that's probably like, I don't know, like 5% or whatever. Now imagine a place of 500 and that same 100. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's a local thing. So of course, Fireboy's gonna bring everybody and their mama out the city. It's like you put a certain show in Baltimore that has Africans, like you play Familiar, everyone will like,
They don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I was just like blessed that now I have tracks that like literally first time even going to the public, I'm coming out to that and folks is already like,
They're already vibing.
and then by the time I get to the hook or the end of the song, they singing along.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. But big shout out to my DJ though. Shout out A1 Walt, because as a performer, you're supposed to like create a show, regardless of like what's going on around you, what's after you, what's before you, what you're even doing there. For that 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 minutes that they belong to you, your job is to entertain. You know what I mean? You're not a clown that will start doing jokes and do this, and you're not in the circuit. Like those are all types of entertainment. So it's like, now, what is your job? Like being an MC, as an MC, you gotta have the right DJ. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like with him, a lot of these shows that I've done, like it's just made it easy to even
What makes him the right DJ?
His presence as a DJ is like damn near like a local artist.
Crazy.
Like I don't know if y'all have like been to a party and heard of A1 Walt. Like he's the.
I don't think I have.
To me, he's the best DJ in the DMV.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause like the man worked like show for it. Like he plays like the right sounds in clubs. He's saying the right things to folks, and he brought that to my performance aspect. So now before I even have to like get the mic that I'm about to perform with, like the crowd's already ready for something. Like he's telling them like, yeah, y'all ready for my boy? Like, woo, woo. And then like, boom, he cues in something and it's already sounding enticing. By the time I come out, like, they don't care what I look like. They won't care like what, as long as it's sounding right. That's the first thing that has to go. So it's like, yeah, you know, we've definitely done our things with that.
So like when it comes to like performing, like how does it feel? Because one thing I would say, I feel like you definitely got like good stage presence. You know what I'm saying? Like being up there, I've seen a video of you like interacting with the crowd, talking with them, and like just kind of like telling your story in a way. You know what I'm saying? So like how does it feel to like perform and then see the crowd like interact with you and like know like, all right, is it like extra motivation, or is it just like
for sure? It's definitely motivation, but the biggest thing is like it's a confirmation. You get what I'm saying? Like it was crazy, and confirmation isn't even to like downplay like how exciting it is. Of course, like it's a rush. You know what I'm saying? But it just tells you like, yeah, bro, that shit you been on, like it's working, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's doing something. Like I got a record. It's called International. I came out with that song, and literally like it just goes, you know, international. Now all the girls are singing that shit. It's
crazy.
And all it is I'm making sure the quality is in there. I'm making sure some shit folks will rock out to. I was confident enough to say, yeah, like we got Familiar that's out, but we could start with this. Right. You know what I'm saying? So to your first question, like I was going out every set, they give me like, 10 to 15 minutes. I'm doing 5 or 4 songs, 3 songs, but I only got 1 song out. Well, at least 1 popping song. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be times like when I first started, I give them some of my rap vibes too. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I dropped Familiar, I dropped it with another hip hop song called How High, because I was still doing rap shit. Right. So I had another track called How High, and I dropped those both like on the same day, like a 2-single drop. But it was
on a whole different level.
in a week.
So when you saw that, was it like all right, I'm still with Afrobeat. Like, was that like the confirmation?
Of course, because you know I put it out literally like a test of myself. Just how are we gonna, you know, like what route are we gonna go?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know I can do this. I know I can do this. I'm developing this. Let's put them all out in the same, you know, atmosphere and see what gets grabbed up the most. And that's, you know, just kind of when I knew like I had to, you know, keep going.
So what made you like decide to just go into Afrobeat? Like, do you feel like now is more so like you want to stick with Afrobeat, or you want to be like do just different types of lanes, different types of music?
No, I'm still creating like everything. Everything. Like anything my mind like puts words to, like it's getting creative for sure.
That's cool. How did the crowd receive you at South by Southwest? I know you recently just did that this year, right?
Yeah.
This year, you know, because I know
it was my
Fireboy.
second time.
Second time?
Mhm.
That's tough. I know Fireboy and Olamide, like the crowd is already ready for Afrobeats. You know what I'm saying? I feel like South by Southwest, you might have like a mixed crowd of people. You know what I'm saying? You're performing Afrobeats. Like, how did the crowd receive that, or how did you approach that? You know what I'm saying?
It was important because, you know, this is in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Like, niggas not giving a fuck about no Afrobeat artist.
Yeah, that's how I asked. I was like, Afrobeats.
But it's like, and it's like, bro, we walking in these spots, like it's real folks in there. Like what would I expect to see like in the air? Like you see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So getting them to be like, once again, like in agreement. Like I feel like with fans or just like a crowd or audience, like they gotta agree with you to rock with you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a nigga can come out spitting some trash, but he's making it work, and the crowd, you know, little laughs, and then you get some cheers, and you know they appreciate you for doing your thing.
Yeah.
They agreed with you. You know what I'm saying? If they not rocking, your shit would be the hottest shit in that city that crowd just slept on, but you would still get booed if you get booed.
Yeah.
Like they didn't agree. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like going out there. I think they just saw like the presence that we had and how we was coming and how we had our own swag and vibe. You know, they were already willing to be accepted. And of course, like this is a space where it's like, for real, probably 70% of the people in that building are artists. Everybody's trying to get on.
Right.
Artist or a manager. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really, you know, places where you're connecting and networking and getting your sound off, and then other people that might be artists, might be A&Rs, might be managers, or just people that are here to just listen to like whatever artist is coming to town.
Yeah.
You know, you're gravitating towards all that. So yeah, it was a great reception. Folks was, you know, vibing out. Like, of course, they not fully understanding like some of the vibes that they hearing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes with Afro, I feel like the blessing in what we got is just it's a movement. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Especially
the vibration.
Especially, you don't even have to know what they're saying. Like, you just feel it.
People be thinking of Kanye, they don't know what they're saying. Like, I don't know.
And he's the most strict.
Yeah.
So
And it's also about like going back to that, like they feel that honesty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They feel it in the music so they can really agree with it.
Yeah.
And you spoke about like networking, you know what I'm saying? Like you've done it well. Like, let's talk about like the relationship with Day Drama and Seddy Hendrix, you know what I'm saying? You got that type of relationship with him. Like what's that been like?
It's I've been grateful for it because, you know, I feel like I have been able to build like some good connections just as an artist and just as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like on a personal level and the relationships that I have with like them guys, the conversations I've had, places I've been with them, you know what I'm saying? It's just like the one word to put to it is just like grateful. But on top of that, it's a shitload of stuff to learn, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm a dude that was watching this stuff on TV, watching this stuff on YouTube. So it's like now I'm getting invited. I'm in certain rooms, and it's like, yeah, you get that first like realistic. You get that first 2 to 3 minutes of just like, damn.
You really in this room right now.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay.
No, it's not.
Now it's time to leave a mark. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to get somebody to remember your name, remember who you are, remember like something about you before you leave. You feel me? So I've definitely been fortunate to be in the right room.
Have they opened some doors that nobody knows about? You know what I'm saying? Have they opened some doors for you?
Maybe it might be some doors I don't even know about yet.
Okay, yeah.
But I know them dudes definitely show love from the jump. You know what I mean? that connection happened through my manager, and like I said, great relationships. I
That's
feel
an A1 manager right there.
that's a big ass door to walk through anyway.
Yeah, OC,
You know what I'm
OC.
saying? So it's like, and facts, they've been putting word in behind the scenes. It's already been certain things I've benefited off of just from a conversation they had with somebody, you know, especially drama. Like, them dudes is like, you know, they still do their pull strings, like, in the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, shout out Seddy Hendrix for sure. And
yeah,
he's
Seddy
like,
my dog, bro.
Yeah.
Seddy my dog.
And one thing I like about Seddy is I feel like he's tapped in with like a lot of different underground, you know, artists. You know what I'm saying? People still trying to come up, things like that.
Yeah, he
like,
represents it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's
quality music that is still like a whole world that's yet to even like see what's up.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Seddy the dude that like people should be fortunate is like he putting out shit.
For sure.
Because like that man is like talented.
I need to put out more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
For sure.
I feel like even like having honesty and like people being like good people in the industry, I feel like that's even rare to the point where, you know, like I feel like when you meet your, not say heroes, but like the people that you saw doing things, and now you're like, you meet them in person and they're really what they lived up to be, you're like, damn, like it makes it even 10 times better. Because sometimes when you meet people, you're like, oh, this is who you were? Like, this is how you are? And it's kind of rare to kind of see that. So I'm glad, like, they lived up to who they were on camera, you know?
So talk about like being like as a musician and being in the industry, because it's always interesting because, you know, you hear the industry, but it's like we're civilians. We don't really know what the ins and out of this. Like as somebody who's like, who's really like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I'm a civilian too, bro.
I mean, the civilians and then the civilians who's in contact with DJ Drama, you know what I'm saying? So like,
Civilian contact with D.A. Johnson,
you know what I'm saying? So like, how do you try to move in that space as a up-and-coming artist trying to grow and trying to network and things like that? What's your mindset when it comes to that?
You gotta be willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be willing to let people talk.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as an artist, like at least speaking for myself, like I had to make a transition of like letting people talk. Like in terms of just like, okay, like how do I put it? Like, you know, what we were saying earlier, like that conflict of opinion, or like, you know, whatever the case is like they're coming from a different place, like a different, you know, background, different experience.
Yeah.
So it's like there's always gonna be something you can learn from it, even if it starts with something they saying you don't like. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was a big thing, and overall, just more hunger to work. Cause yeah, like you know, you saying like I'm in the industry, but it's like really, it's, you know, I'm fortunate to have like connections and things going on. I'm still an independent artist. Like I'm still as hungry as like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not coming in here with like a team of, you know, paparazzi like waiting at the door for me to walk back out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still like a lot more to get on. So I think that's the other biggest thing would just be, you know, learning to stay hungry. Because even them folks that are in the rooms are just as hungry as somebody that ain't even got that first hit yet. And the whole time they trying to put like their 50th number one on the chart. Or somebody like Drake that's in the multiple hundreds, thousands. You know what I'm saying?
Think about it,
And them folks are still hungry, bro.
It kind of goes to show like how much hungry we have to be. Like we're really not in the door yet, but like they're in the rooms and they're hungry. They're still hungry.
It's back to the honesty, bro. Man. You gotta be honest. Like you gotta look at something and say like, oh, I'm not there. Like you gotta look at something and be like, well, I'm there, but what's next for me?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's always got to be that hunger and that fire. You know what I mean?
So when it comes to like connections and things like that, like even like working with other artists and things like that, features, like what's your mindset when it comes to that? It's like people you want to work with, or even like you hopping on songs and things like that. What's your mindset when it comes to like working with other artists?
Honestly, I haven't been a fan, but I've worked with like great artists. Like I've had some great connections and relationships that came like music wise with certain artists. But overall, you know, like it's different opinions, it's different brands, it's, you know, different stuff going on. And then like locally, you know, it's like out here, everybody just kind of got like their thing going on. You know, so it's always like just a factor of like when's the right time for something, or, you know, when you're just in a room and you run into somebody and then boom, like, you know, a conversation turns into, you know, a collaboration. Like at least that's how I feel like it should start with, you know, people that are locking in. Like why you doing a song with somebody you wouldn't hang with? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good
You
one.
doing a song with somebody that's not getting you a certain amount of like pay, you know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Because of course, like it'll still be business with in the industry. Like it's not like everybody doing a feature gotta be like, you know, going to the club together. But it's like it gotta be something that's beneficial. Like it got like, and we're artists. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to collab on something and then you put out to the public, y'all both like tough in your own respect, but then the public seeing this and like,
Nah, it's not putting
Not
together.
it.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But overall, though, I think folks should collab more, but start with conversations and start with like getting to know people and letting people know you're not a weirdo.
Right.
'Cause,
Yeah.
like it be weirdos out here.
Yeah, I'll see. How did like in terms of like, is there any artists you are thinking about trying to collab with? Like you're hoping to collab with?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of folks I feel like I could make hits with, like, and I could give hits to. You feel me? Like, Burner, holla at the boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's.
Burner boy.
But it's a
Oh,
lot.
no, holla that's too. Like, you can't. Holla that's too. I mean, like, which one you go with? It doesn't matter.
It's a lot though, cause you know it's a lot of people that are in that space right now that are making things happen and like not making things happen on some like okay like I'm just getting bigger and bigger, but like actually putting out quality sound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like influencing the culture and pushing the culture. So I just feel like how I'm coming with, you know, my sound and the different aspects that I got to mind that just make me stand out from the next man. I feel like working with some of these other artists, you know, people like Burner, I want to work with Thames, you know, like a lot of folks like Barge, I don't know if y'all know who, like it's a lot and it's a wide range of different sounds because it's like I said earlier, it's different sounds I want to tap into. But you know, I feel like bringing my stuff to the table and like collabing with a lot of people.
Anybody in the area?
I mean, I got some. I've worked like here and there with folks in the area, but for the most part, I don't really, you know.
Yeah, but like that.
At least like not in the space of like what I got going on, like in terms of like Afro or like, you know, like in that lane. But it's definitely a lot of talented artists in the DMV that, like I said, I've been working with, collabing with in different ways that we do. But I gotta start from conversations, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
You just want
I'm
to
not,
start.
yeah, like I'm not checking some nigga gram and I'm like, oh yeah, you got 10K followers, let's do a feature. Like
Does work.
niggas be having 10K followers and be weirdos, bro. Like,
Be
you know
fake.
what I'm
Be fake followers.
Yeah.
Talk about like the experience of hearing like your song on like the radio. Like, I'll be grateful if we heard like my voice on the radio, like, and you really like hearing it off the radio. Like what was that experience like?
I ain't gonna lie. So, shout out to Lil Bacon Bear, because she was, you know, the first to like feature it on like a main radio station. The first time, I didn't even get to like witness it. It was like somewhere in I can't even remember what state. I want to say like somewhere in Illinois, like not even in Chicago or some shit.
Oh really?
Like some random ass.
But that gotta be still like
and
my
it
music all the
wasn't.
way out there.
Nah, I mean and it wasn't even familiar. It was like my
bust down record. So that was back when I was, you know, just trying to like this shit. You know, shout out Lil Bacon Bear. I think it was 93.9.
WKYS?
Yes, I believe it was that. And you know, she featured it. That was, you know, something that started from a conversation. You know what I mean? I met her at a Wiz Khalifa, Logic and Drama. They had a show. I was actually supposed to open at that show, but I got there 5 minutes late.
Damn, 5 minutes.
I miss opening.
Why was you late?
Nah, I mean, I ain't gonna get into like too, but like, Drum sent me the location, and he was saying like Virginia, but like the way he was saying it sounded like damn near DC, because he was talking about he was gonna be in Rose Bar after that.
So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
like right there.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm in the shower, bro. He said,
Sent his location. He don't put the address. He just sent a location. So I clicked that joint. That shit saying an hour 45 minutes. I'm like,
What?
you know what
That's
I'm saying?
crazy.
So, bro, I start rushing. We like 5 deep. pushing through from 695 to 495, like, and mind you, this is through rush hour.
Yeah.
So we
man.
pushing, bro. I literally, like, by the time we get to the gate, giving them like a credential shit and all that, I hear drama on stage. I'm like, damn. And he was trying to, like, he was gonna bring me out type shit. But you know, it was straight. It was cool because once, like I said, conversations happen. I met people, you know what I'm saying, and then got to meet a Lil Bacon Bear. So she featured it on her platform, and it was crazy. Like, it felt like a new type of like celebration with myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just once again that nigga is working.
It's like a different
mind. Real life, like you see it.
And I was fortunate enough, like, she had it in her rotation for like 2 weeks.
Crazy.
So it's like, best believe I tuned in every
like, I'm like,
when you might play it now, I bet.
Yeah, and I mean, they was reminding me too. I was getting like the notification type shit. So it's like,
what's gonna say like, oh, your song's about to come on type?
I was getting like notifications of the time and where my song was on the set list. That's tough. So I don't think like my song had an actual time, but I knew who it was gonna be after.
Before, okay, gotcha.
So yeah, I would be like tuning in, like, okay,
is this hard?
They probably brought you like, we got a new artist, Meka Luxx.
It's wild because the first time it got played, I missed it.
Okay.
But somebody tagged me.
Yeah. Okay.
So somebody else was just in their car on,
Just,
I mean, 93.9, and was like, yo, let me radio. I was like,
and somebody else told you. That must be crazy.
That's
like,
a crazy
I
trend.
fell asleep. I woke up. I saw the notification. Like, I saw the message. Yeah. It was like the radio station had like DM'd me because, like, I guess they DM all the artists that were like on her thing. And then I was like, damn, I missed it. But I seen somebody tag me. I'm like, so
That's tough.
That's good.
So I waited the next week, and then that's when I was able to record it type shit.
That's tough.
That's a crazy moment.
Is there any advice that you would give like artists that's trying to make music now? You know what I'm saying? Like, either whether it be Afrobeat, honestly, let's say Afrobeats. You know, so Afrobeats is hot, it's popping. I feel like a lot of up and coming artists are probably trying to tap into that. Like, what advice would you give?
I mean, for one, because the same way I don't even, like, I would go against identifying like, oh, I'm this, or I'm
Okay.
Like, I won't even say like I'm an Afrobeats like
Artist. Okay.
I'm an artist that's like putting out, you know, that's about to release like a lot, you know what I mean? That's I feel like is gonna move forward. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I hope people agree. I mean, but you know, my advice to somebody would be, for one, like, go as crazy as you want them to go crazy for you. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta put the work in, you gotta put the time in. It's not about, you know, how many of your homeboys fuck with it, because that's not gonna matter once you walk on the stage and you're in front of, you know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta take yourself serious. You know what I mean? The same way you wanna get in shape, the same way you wanna stay in shape, or the same way you wanna run up, you know, 10 bands this month or this week, however your speed is, like, you gotta want it, you know what I mean? Like, and the only way you can show yourself that you want it is by putting in work. Like, you gotta see the results of the work, and it makes sense, because like, oh yeah, I've been putting in that work. That's when you get them moments.
Keep doing.
That's like when you put the work in and
like,
you see it come to
bro, this shit, like I said, I'm not in a position where it's like I can say, oh yeah, I made it. But I talked to God one night and I said, just keep showing me the signs. If I don't see no more signs for a straight year, I'm gonna leave it be. I said that prayer right before I put out Familiar, and it's like after 1 week, like,
he said, I'm gonna give you a big.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm about to say that same prayer. I'm about to say that same prayer.
This prayer.
I wasn't about to say that prayer, go to sleep, and not get up that next morning and get on my ass.
Oh yeah, OC, you still gotta put up like.
That's what I'm saying. It's gotta make sense. You know what I mean? So just like go hard, but not the hard niggas be saying on Instagram, not the hard niggas be saying on songs. Like, you actually have to like go hard for yourself. Yeah. Like, it's an equation that might seem simple when you see it work like overnight for somebody, but it's like, nah, bro, it took the formula, took years, took months, whatever like amount of time that somebody locked in and was like, bro, I'm gonna make this happen. Like, you gotta have that time where you make it happen, you know, for any aspect in your life. And if you're an artist, that type of mindset is just gonna bleed into your music regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There you go. So what? Before we close the joint now, what's next on record level? What's next? What's your main goals that you're trying to achieve? Right?
The goal for real is taking over the world with this shit, man. Like, you know, there's multiple kings, you know, all over this planet. Like, I wanna let folks know, like, what
You're
we
one
got
of them.
going on.
You're one of them,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, I want to let people know that you've been, like, if you somebody that done heard something and wondered, like, oh, why hasn't it come out? Or, you know, you don't even know who the hell I am, like, seeing this, and you just tap in, like, okay, let me see what they got going. Okay, this sounds all right. Like, just know that, like, you know, I've been doing a lot of planning. I've been doing a lot of strategizing. And I can promise you, like, a lot of folks ain't working as hard as we working with this shit. So when it starts coming out and it just seems like, oh, what he got going on, like, we put time in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Put in
saying?
work.
Like, we put a lot of time in. And I'm just excited for y'all to hear it, you know. I've been, like, listening to this tape. I've been done with it for, like, a year and a half. So it's like, knowing that, like, it's gonna hit people, like, fresh, you know what I mean? It's already just, like, a renewing feeling, you know what I'm saying? But when the rest of this, and y'all just see, like, you know, what I was talking about even on CurbTalks, and you're watching this like 5 years later and you see, like, you see where all three of us are at.
Amen. A lot of work was put in to get here.
Sure.
Who else, before we officially close it out, who's one person you want to see on the show with us? Who's one person that you want to see on the show with us?
My dog Depot. I mean, go check him out. His sound, if we talking about DMV artists right now, that's the sound people should look into. And he's Nigerian pushing it. So it's like, you know what I mean? That just shows that
That boys.
you can do anything. You know what I'm saying? Check out Depot. I want to think of people that, like, actually talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, for real, depending on, you know, if we're talking about, like, outside artists, I think it's definitely, you know, some people y'all should tap in with like brands and their stories of how they're, you know, doing their thing. There's a brand called Villains Vanity.
Gotcha.
You know, I fuck with that brand, based out of Baltimore, 9 of World.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy, you know what I mean? And it's tons of bosses out here.
Yeah.
There's tons of bosses out here, and there's so much creative shit going on. You know, even my boy Skywalker, like my engineer, the niggas he be working with, you know what I mean? It's probably some folks y'all done knew too off the music shit, but, you know, folks that want to have good conversation.
Yeah. All right, bet.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all for sitting on the curb with us, man.
We are gone. All right, bet. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
That was good.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate my boy. That was good. We about to take